major with Nas.
And the placement on that album, We Major, comes right after the Diamonds remix.
Right.
So if people are starting to look at it like, oh snap, like Nas and Jay-Z on the same album, one track after another. Could this be something for the future? And it wound up actually
happening.
Yeah.
So late registration, bro. Yeah, number 3.
So number 2, bro.
Yeah. Number 2. Yeah.
You know what? I'll piggyback off you because my number 2 is late registration, just to keep it like fluid, just to add to pretty much everything you just said. Yeah, I was hyped for this album. I know Gold Digger was a song that was actually a single that was given to Shauna, and she just she turned it down. Yeah, Shauna, and
good job, Shauna. Good job, thanks, Shauna.
I guess she got the beat and just didn't know what to do with it, you know.
Right.
And then Kanye did with it what he did.
Gold Digger was like, I mean,
it was a smash because Diamonds was the first single. It didn't quite hit the top 40 like he wanted to.
It wasn't mainstream.
Yeah, it was Gold Digger that got the album rolling.
Yeah. The story was though that Kanye wanted Diamonds first, but they were like, like that shouldn't be even a single at all.
Yeah.
But Kanye, he's steadfast, like, this has to be the single.
Yeah.
And like you said, it was a slow roll to the album, but like after like the 3rd week, 4th week, then it started to pick up.
But it was definitely Gold Digger because that one actually tried. And you know what? Jamie Foxx doing the whole Ray Charles sample, and at the time I think he did the Ray movie.
Yeah, Ray.
So all of that was working for him.
It was in sync.
Yeah, I mean, I love that this album was like huge for him. It did like almost 1 million the first, like 860 the first week, and just musically, he also had the skits on there. He still had the college theme going, like we broke, five broke. He has Cam on here. Right. He has Consequence on there.
It's loaded. The album's loaded.
Yeah, the album's loaded, and I mean, he begged that guy John. I don't know how to say his name, John Bryan or John Bryan. They said he begged him to work with him on this album so that he could make the songs bigger. Yeah, I mean that's this. If this was 05, this was my number 1. But as time has gone by, I love this album, but my number 2, Late Registration. An era of Kanye I prefer versus where he's at now musically. So
totally agree.
What's your number 2?
Okay. My number 2, and I was flipping back and forth with you to like the last few minutes, but I went Mitchell Show with my number 2, Little Brother. To me, this should have been their coming out party. Honestly, to me, it was poor marketing from Atlantic. As far as
the album didn't really
know how to promote them because they're like, okay, you're a conscious group, you got a fan base, but they to me the wrong singles are put out. You know what I mean? One of the singles to me probably one of my favorite singles of all time from them is Slow Down. We're talking about on a relationship standpoint, especially on Fonte's third verse. Especially this, and that's us being men, like we want that separation, but there's a certain time where we just need to, we just want to be on our own. We just need to be left alone. And we need somebody to understand that. I'm for sure that person, but damn, it resonates, and this, and it's so relevant. But like to me, beginning and end, like, and it was conceptual. You look at you look at listening. Listening was like, okay, here's a radio station. Now they have a TV show.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean, and how they were able to mix social commentary. Not overbearing, but still sprinkle it in a sense to say, okay, this is how it was going on. You know what I mean? This is how we're being promoted. This is how they're trying to make us, shuck and jive for you. But still do it in a way that, I can still bang my head, not my head to this and say this is a quality album. Right. I think, to me, like I said, this should have been a coming out album, but like it was poorly promoted.
It should have been, yeah.
You know what I mean? And I remember BT when he played the record because they said, and I remember BT said it was too sophisticated.
It was too intelligent. There was actually a thing. We can't play intelligent rap. Like that was actually a thing.
And that's sad because who knows how Little Brother would have shaped the band?
Yeah, would
have. Because after that night, of course, left and Spontaneous. And to me, it was never the same. Like I listened to Little Brother stuff after that, but it was already missed because
this album was like. It was perfect, but it was also like the gut punch to the group.
Yeah.
Nah, see, before they released it, you already knew they weren't going to be a group anymore. So when I heard it, it was kind of like listening to the Tribe album, like Love Movement. You're like, it's like kind of like, oh, this is the last album. Like this is what they got. For me, the Mitchell Show was kind of a huge letdown because I already knew that I didn't want to work with these people anymore, and like it was really
your feelings were just.
Yeah, because, like, I don't know, for a lot of people, like they'd only heard the listen. Yo, I didn't listen to Little Brother in like 1999. Like, okay, like I had like already listened to it, and like when you're talking about, oh yeah, it's only 6 years later, but when you're talking about making an album, crafting something, it's a lot, and so I don't know. Minstrel Show for me was like a letdown. Like that's not on top 5, but.
I respect it, but I thought it was a very polished album.
Sound-wise, I thought
even with the internal conflicts going on. Yeah. To me, production-wise or music,
my ear couldn't tell.
I couldn't tell that.
Yeah, the ear couldn't tell.
You know what I mean? Now I was in the studio with them, you know what I mean, and I see, okay, I just feel this beat, I'm walking out or whatever. That's a whole different. But music, when I first heard this album, I'm like, okay, this was cracked. It was.
But I think one of the reasons why they didn't promote it to artists, I don't think they thought they had bottled up something what they had captured in the first album. I feel like it was kind of like, okay, we're going to try to get this out here for people who want to hear it, but it certainly wasn't underground. It certainly wasn't mainstream. They just couldn't get it up onto that other, atmosphere.
Yeah.
Speaking for like groups, I mean, it's tragic because at that same time they had the Foreign Exchange come out in between that.
Yeah, I love that project.
Much better album than the Mitchell Show, and I don't know.
Foreign Exchange project was great.
They needed a hit record from Roy Lee.
Oh man. All right, fish you up, brother.
Oh, so we're number 2?
Yeah.
Oh shit. Well, number 2 is The Sign, Evolution Light, which it's pretty much one of those albums where they pretty much created an album. You're not gonna know there. The Gainesville, Florida. Both producers. You had 2 producers, 2 MCs. But the idea for the album was pretty much a continuation from Illmatic. And everyone in the group pretty much just took everything they got into that album. And overseas, it pretty much gave way to like Nujabes and like Substantial, all the way back to Odyssey. But for independent record labels, Evolution Flights is pretty much...
I didn't know Substantial
probably the most best, pretty much the, most slept on thing from 2005 I can even think of. But if you're talking about Systar, I don't know. I mean, you just won't know.
Tough crowd here.
I love how, as he says, the album is slept on. You just hear the snore, like he really drove his point home.
Yeah. You put on The Sign. It's CY, cultivating your new experiences. CYNE, rapping like that song. Actually, Open Mind. It's actually one of his favorite songs, but not MCY's. Pretty much heat up anybody you could even think of. It's a shame they're not big here because it was one of the most sold albums in 2005, just not in the U.S. So
okay. Yeah, I gotta actually. You put me on. I gotta check that out.
Yeah, Sign. I guess the closest person they could probably relate that to is probably Q-Tip. It sounds like Q-Tip on that type of wavelength.
So The Sign SY.
No, CY.
Oh, CY.
Yeah, cultivating your new experiences. But yeah, that was their second full-length album. The first was The Time Being, which will be slept on forever. But yeah, you can put on any. I feel confident to put any of the tracks. They're probably the most slept on type of group from Florida. If you could name any other groups from Florida,
right?
I'd like to hear you name one.
Yeah,
2 Live Crew.
They're Miami, but groups. I don't even know.
2 Live Crew. Yeah.
Oh no, I was being sarcastic. I didn't want to. I can't even think of many groups from Florida, actually.
Yeah, the words.
All right, cool. So rolling number 2s.
What, do you do 2?
No, I can start it off.
I thought
we just did our round 2s. We're on 2 right now, actually.
Yeah. I did 3. For me, I gotta go Game documentary. Like I said, man, from 4 down, I feel like these are perfect albums to me. Like, and it's all relative to the time we're talking about. We can't compare this stuff to Illmatic. We can't compare this to Ready to Die. We can't compare this to whatever. We have to compare it to the modern day. What would be the modern day standard of a perfect album for that year? And I feel like, what more do you want in the Game documentary? Like you said, Ray, it has a lot of the massacre. What was maybe left off could have been put on.
A couple of songs like besides the singles, like West Side Story, he said would have been like 50 did the chorus is what it is. It was really
right.
But
and the Game, I mean, he kind of like landed. To me, I describe it like this: the Game is like a dude. He's a talented MC, and he just landed like in a royalty side of things. And I felt like he didn't earn it. You know what I mean? On this album, it was like handcrafted for him, and Aftermath kind of laid the royal carpet out for him. He had 50 Cent
resources, and the top label at the time.
Right.
Yeah, and you're also talking about a time where music. This is like almost the death of music videos, where you're getting things shown on, and like, I mean, he had like 3 or 4 where every single he had a music video like out there at that time. Which was huge because in 2007, 2008, that was pretty much a shift from like iTunes, from MTV, and so on. But
when I turn on Training Day, when I hear this song, this is like
I've seen Training Day. This is in the movie.
This is on the soundtrack.
Oh, okay. I never had the soundtrack.
Yeah. When Denzel,
Training Day's like 3 years before this album comes out. Wow.
I don't even know what the years these match up.
Yeah, because this album's January 05. Training Day is like 02, I think. Something like that. Wow.
Well, this song is in the movie, and he's in the lowrider, and he's taking the guy on the trip. You know what I mean? And it's an epitome of the West Coast hip hop. And one thing you can say about West Coast artists, this shit always sounds West Coast. Like whether it's pop or not, whether it's sell records or not. I mean, this sounds West Coast.
This song is, but you know what? Like the whole album actually isn't, but this song, I agree with you. Especially to me, like I don't know. I guess Drake did this because like the piano, or maybe like Scott Storch. To me, that
straight all day. Yeah, man, and like you said, Game is one of those MCs that we talked about this offline, like Joe Budden. He's very confusing at times, and he's like one of those guys. He's very talented, and it's like MC or rapper, and I feel like he's got the skills of an MC, but he gets lumped up in that rapper category for me more times than not because of the miscellaneous things that happen in his career. You know what I mean? And we were talking about like character play a part in how you respect an artist. You know what I mean? And I don't know, like I have to just look at it like as a piece of work in your music. But yeah, I can go on. The Game documentary, that's my number 2.
So where we at? Number 1?
Yeah,
number 1.
I could just get my own one. I went with Elite Registration for my number 1 album that year. I just think production wise, everything else, like I thought College Dropout was a great album. But I think Elite Registration might be more polished lately. I mean, when you think about it, for him to have Jay and Nas on that same album and the height of their beef, to me was monumental. He was giving the friction. I remember when I first heard We Major, and I mean Nas, I was like, oh man, like you got Jay on here, like you on the rock, like you know what I mean. And I'm still looking at things like I'm a Nas fan. I grant like Jay too, but I was riding with Nas doing that beef. So for you to get Nas on there and for your boss to be quote unquote okay with it, or even if you said fuck your feelings, I'm still going to do this. I thought it was good. And one thing I always remember about Kanye, at least in the early stages of Kanye, was that he was a backpacker. He was, quote unquote conscious rapper, but he was able to have, street dudes on the same tracks with him doing music, but still have, he was still be able to play both lanes.
Mm-hmm.
And still be respected to play both lanes. And I think for him, when we look at like Dilate and everything else, like here's good dudes who get a shot. Here's the first guy who kind of had more wiggle room. and then he was able to get Common. Like Common has his resurrection. We look at Common, he dropped.